Welcome back, Gun Talkers. Hey, we're live here at 2018 SHOT Show here in Las Vegas. And next to me, I've got silencer shop guru Jeremy Millette. Jeremy, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. It's super busy here.
No, you're not. You're never busy. Come on, don't give me that. So we were just talking, just to give our viewers a little bit of background on you. We were talking, and we're kind of kindred spirits now because I found out how much of a hunter you are. But you like to take your hunting outside the U.S. too.
Absolutely, yeah.
So where have you been?
So, you know, actually my first real overseas trip was in Scotland in September. So I was hunting red stag and Scottish mountain goat.
Yeah.
And using a silencer, of course.
Right.
And like we were just saying, I really don't hunt without a silencer, you know?
So, okay, why is that? And I understand, like, you know, the noise and everything else, but why for you? Is it a personal deal?
Yeah, so, you know, I got my first silencer in 2011, and that's when I was really introduced to it. And after that, I'll be honest with you, it just spoiled me.
It changed. It changed. There was that tipping point where you're like, you can go either way. You know, you could get one or you can get 100, and you probably are on the other side of the spectrum. And so, but you hunt a lot.
Yep.
How'd you get into silencer shop?
So actually, I went to a silencer demo back in 2011. Shot a silencer for the first time, and that's kind of when the industry was really picking up, and you know, things were kind of, silencers were becoming more, you know, mainstream, right?
Right.
They're super mainstream now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But you know, I mean, people were just hearing about them and learning that, oh wow, silencers are legal. You can actually own these things.
Yep.
So I went there and used one, and then I was like, what have I been missing, right? Like, why haven't I been doing this?
It's the whole where have you been all my life, and
yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of discussions. I know you guys are silencer shop. Silencer or suppressor?
Muffler, can, moderator, I mean, you know.
Anything you want to call it.
Yeah, you know, some people get really bent out of shape about that. I call them silencers, and they go, actually, the correct term is suppressor. And I said, well, you know, if you want to get correct, they're patented as silencers. The ATF calls them silencers in the rule book, so technically it's silencer.
So you get technical on them. You're kind of like, oh, no, we're going to, you know what? I'm going to lay the law down. This is what, by law, they are called.
Exactly. I don't really care what you call them, though.
You heard it from Jeremy. He's going to call it right now. It's officially silencer, according to all the patents.
That's right.
There we go, trademarks. So what do you guys do at Silencer Shop? And for our viewers out there, you know, give them a little bit of background on the development. And if you're watching this now live and you got a question about silencers, ask Jeremy because he's the professional. He's the guy in the know. So give us a little background.
All right, so Silencer Shop actually got started because our owner, Dave, wanted to buy a silencer because his son was born like with 50% hearing loss.
Right.
But he wanted his son to be able to shoot and not damage his hearing even more, right? And so what happened is he went to a store and bought a silencer, and frankly, he had an awful experience. It was really bad. The guy's like, here's the paperwork. You fill it out yourself. And Dave's like, oh, I've never done this. What do I do?
So no guidance.
No guidance whatsoever. Anyway, long story short, it was a nightmare for him to get his silencer. Okay, so he thought, you know, there has to be a way to make this super simple for everybody and provide good customer service. And really, our motto, make silencer ownership simplified.
Yes.
And so that's how Silencer Shop was born. So since then, we've grown to the largest seller of silencers in the United States.
Man. And you guys are doing something way different than anybody else, and it is simple to use, and that's the kiosk. And
that's right.
Give us a background on that, because if you guys are out there looking for silencers or anything like that, man, I encourage you to use this kiosk. It's easy to use. It's all done right there. But explain the kiosk just a little bit.
Sure. So in 2016, in January, President Obama issued an executive order that changed names, but anyway, it was implemented in July. So what it did is it started requiring fingerprints and photographs for every single person that applies for a silencer, whether you're on a trust or not. So at that point, we realized that we had to make it simple for people to get their fingerprints into the system. And going to the sheriff and whatnot is not simple.
Not at all, because I've done it both ways.
Right.
I've done it both ways, and I'd much rather have the kiosk.
So what we did is we deployed 300 kiosks at that point all across the country in all the states where they're legal, 42 states.
Okay.
And then since then we've keep deploying them. So we're pushing 400, You know, we're a little under 400.
Right.
But what it does is it allows you to go there, enter your information, get your fingerprints digitally scanned on FBI-approved fingerprint scanners, and then once you're in our system, you're always in our system. You don't have to do it again.
Oh, you don't have to do it again.
No.
So when I go back, I don't have to follow up. I don't have to, go through the whole thing. So it's quicker.
No. That's right. So your next purchase, you can literally hop on silencershop.com, purchase the silencer, purchase the tax stamp, and you're done.
That's
End of
it.
story.
So you don't have to actually go back to the kiosk.
No, not at all.
So you guys contain that information, you put it out there.
Yep.
Why isn't everybody out there doing this? Like, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about consumers or you're talking about dealers?
Well, dealers. And
yeah.
how if I was a dealer and I'm like, oh my gosh, that would increase sales in my stores and people would start coming in more often and I wouldn't have to answer those questions because I've got a dealer in down in Louisiana that they're like, well, we don't know exactly what the rules are, and so, but you guys make it easy.
That's right. So for the dealer, we've got a couple of really cool things that consumers might not be aware of.
Right.
So number one, any dealer that's part of our network, which we call Powered by Silencer Shop.
Right.
Right. They are powered by our technology, and so they can sell directly from our inventory from any silencer that we have at that local dealer. We do all the paperwork for the dealer, handle the customer start to finish. When the silencer's approved, they just pick up at that local dealer. Now, if a dealer wants to get a kiosk, which they don't have to have a kiosk to be a dealer,
okay,
then we sell the kiosk, right? We sell them for what we make them for. We're not trying to make any money on them. We're trying to just make it easy for everybody to get in the system.
So, again, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Jeremy Millette of Silencer Shop. If you've got a question about silencers, please ask him. I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. Hunting, silencers, what's not to love? So, we're at SHOT Show 2018.
Yep.
What are some of the trends in silencers? What are you seeing?
That's a good question. So there are a lot of trends going on, actually. So a trend that's been going on for the past 3 to 4 years is modularity.
Right.
So people want a silencer that they can make shorter, longer, all different sorts of calibers, they can clean. Basically, they want one silencer to do everything. So that's a trend that's kind of going on. Another trend that we're seeing that's interesting in the past year are the return of really short silencers. So people are willing to have something that's louder,
right,
but really short.
Okay.
They're like, hey, look, it's right on the edge of hearing safe.
Right.
It takes the edge off. I'm not going to go deaf. I don't.
It gets it down to a safe level.
Right.
Safe enough, but they don't extend their barrel length or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of a new trend. Obviously, lightweight. I've got a joke. Everyone says, "What's the best silencer?" I say, "Well, it depends on you. What you're going to use it for." I said, if I had one that was the shortest, the lightest, and the quietest, that's all I'd sell.
Yeah, you'd be making a fortune right now. That's
exactly.
awesome. Well, so you travel, you hunt. How do you maintain your silencer on the road when you're traveling, or if you're in a dusty climate or anything like that? What would your recommendations be for someone who's kind of new to the game, silencer game? They just got their first one. They're taking it out on a hunt. How would you recommend they maintain that silencer?
That's a good question. So we could spend an hour talking about this as far as silencer maintenance and cleaning and that kind of stuff. But I'll just say, as a general rule of thumb, at least while you're out in the field, several hundred rounds, you don't need to clean your center fire or rifle silencer.
Right.
You treat it like you would treat your rifle.
Okay.
So you wipe it down, make sure there's no dust on it, On the mounting surface, you just want to make sure that's clean so that you have a good repeatable mount.
Right.
And you're not affecting your POI.
Make sure there's not a lot of grit in there and that type of stuff.
Exactly. I mean, it's real basic.
Right.
I mean, if you saw my silencer after hunting, you'd be like,
it worked?
Yeah.
Or you took it?
I had an elk hunt 2 years ago in Colorado, right? And it was packed full of snow and stuff. And
really?
I had to shake it out, and took it apart, and it's caked up, and I'm like,
But you can work on these in the field. You can take care of them in the field super easy, and it's just anything getting lodged in your barrel or something. you've got to make sure that debris is clear.
Yeah.
We actually do have a question, and they're asking about different silencers that you're going to be offering or you provide to your dealers. Will you be selling the arms?
Arms? No, we
okay.
will not.
Okay.
No.
All right. See, there you go.
There are brands that we'll be picking up this year.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, currently,
that's
not one of them. I mean, we've got meetings with several manufacturers right now.
Right.
And new manufacturers and some established manufacturers that we don't currently work with. So you never know.
Yeah. Ooh.
Another question.
This is a good one.
Okay.
So are you seeing quicker times with the new barcode access?
Yes. So the problem is with the barcode stuff, there's a couple of things going on.
Okay.
Number one, the barcode, what that does for people is that we create a barcode on the form that the ATF just scans, and it enters in all the information on that form to speed up for data processing, which allows the ATF to then turn around and process forms faster, right?
Okay.
Get them in the system faster.
Right.
We're still dealing with the backlog from back in pre-July, right? And so what happened is it caused this big backlog with ATF and everything because they had to change their system over completely, and it just really slowed things down. Currently, we're seeing end of February for trust approvals.
For trust approvals.
Excuse me. And then we're seeing July for individuals.
Really?
So you think about it, July, but then the question people say is, oh, well, I'll just file as an individual. And it's like, well, eventually trust and individuals are going to be the same time.
Okay.
It's just that they're ahead for right now.
What would you recommend someone, if they don't have a kiosk near them, I mean, would you recommend them setting up a trust, or would you recommend them another route? I mean,
good question.
Which would you recommend?
So ultimately, I recommend that everybody do a trust unless they're a hermit and they have no friends. The reason for that is...
So that's like me. I need to do as an individual now.
Yeah. So with a trust, multiple people can use the silencer.
Right.
You don't have to be present. So if we're, hunting buddies, you want to borrow my silencer and go hunt, you can do that, right?
Right.
If I'm on an individual, you can't borrow it. Now, I can be present and you can use it, but you can't use it apart from me. Additionally, in the event of your death, it makes it much easier to transfer, if it's on a trust, to beneficiaries. Right. Not that it can't be done on an
It would just have to go through like a probate or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, trust in the long run is simpler, but getting it set up initially can be a little bit more difficult. But we want to make that simple.
Yes.
So we came up with what we call a single shot trust. It's $24, cheapest trust you'll find, right?
Yeah. Yes. By far.
No notary. You can digitally sign via DocuSign. You're the only person on it. Once the silencer is approved, then you can add whoever else you want onto it, and they don't have to get fingerprinted and photographed. So only you have to get fingerprinted and photographed, and then you can add people later.
Now, this is at silencershop.com.
That's right.
Okay, so
we're the only ones that have it.
You're the only ones. $24.
Yep.
You get a trust.
That's right.
That might be the coolest thing you've said the whole time. Besides the hunting. But so they go on, they fill out a trust, they can DocuSign it.
Yep.
No notary.
No notary.
That's amazing. Why did I not know about this yet? Come on.
Well, you didn't ask.
I know. Now I know. So if you've got questions, we're fixing to wrap this up. So we're going to hang on for a little bit more. I want to talk to him about hunting a little bit more. But if you have some questions, bring them in. So, okay, where's your next hunt at? And for a person looking at getting into silencers, what your top 5 recommendations?
Oh man, that's
I told you I was going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put you on the spot.
That's a tough one. So here's the thing. A silencer is a very personal decision. It's like a scope. It's like buying a scope for your gun. There's all these questions, right? Personally, the silencer that I have personally been using for the last 4 years on my hunting rifle, which is bolt gun only, 300 Win Mag, 6.5, 308, that kind of stuff, is the Griffin Armament Sportsman. Because it's 11 ounces, and it's pretty inexpensive.
Okay.
That's what I've personally been using. I'll tell you, other great ones. Rugged makes really great cans. Of course, Griffin we just talked about. SIGs are great. Dead Airs are great. there's a lot of good
It's
brands.
all personal preference, and
Exactly.
what type of material you want it. Do you want it lightweight? Do you want shorter? Yeah.
It's like saying, what's the best pickup truck? Right?
Yeah.
I say Chevy, and you're going to say, no, Dodge till I die.
Man, I can't afford to gas in that. You know that. Come on.
But you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like it's very personal, and there's all sorts of features, man.
Yep.
It's complicated, but all those brands are great.
Yep.
Personally, I mean, I like all those brands.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great brands. My next trip, man, I just talked to someone and bid on a hunt at DSC for Spain for ibex.
Oh my gosh! Now that's in my top 10. Like on my bucket list, that's in the top 10. But that silencer shop, the single shot trust, right?
Single shot trust.
Single shot trust is super easy. Silencer shop is making life easier in the world of silencers. Go check them out.